Hello, Mark here. Trust you're well. Welcome to this recording of a live Lightroom and Lightroom Classic skills and support session that I hosted back in November 2025. The narrative for the evening was EXIF data, so that's all the data that's captured when we either touch our screens or press our shutter button, and how we can use Lightroom and Lightroom Classic to find our images quicker using that data. We concluded our time together with the challenges that you're having with Lightroom and Lightroom Classic. What do you need help with? It's not necessarily doing anything wrong. It's, are you just using the tool in the best way for you and your photography? If you'd like to come and join us on these live events, just visit lightroommark.com. Below the introductory video, you'll see our upcoming events. If you click in the menu, all events, you'll see them over the next 52 weeks. If you need help today on a one-to-one basis, just click the support button and I'll be happy to help you where I can. So without any further ado, let's jump across to the recording and happy editing. Right, there's Gary coming. Pull that on there. Right. Hello, everyone.
Okay.
Evening.
What we're doing this week, we're doing EXIF data this week. What is EXIF data? It is, and I've got a handout for you this week. Teacher's been busy. EXIF data is basically the data that comes from your camera. There is a standard, which I'm going to share a PDF with you I wrote. And some cameras have additional optional data. Can anyone think of what one would be? Mr. Wilkinson, you know one off the top of your head.
Geography.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it? What's the data called?
GPS.
3 letters.
3 letters.
GPS.
GPS. So some cameras have GPS. This one does not have GPS built in, but this one does. Okay, and that's all EXIF data. So there is a whole plethora of EXIF data that's standard. Anyone could give me an example, a general example of what every camera data is the same? Doesn't matter if you shoot with a phone, a Canon, a Nikon, a Fuji, a Sony.
Date and time.
Date and time. Anyone else?
Serial number.
Serial number of a camera. Yeah. Anyone else? Anything else? One more.
Exposure.
Shutter.
Yeah. Shutter speed, exposure. Yeah. That all is EXIF data. And in my years of helping other people and having conversations, we don't realize how much data our camera collates. Just like until the Cambridge Analytics fiasco, we didn't realize how much data that Facebook keeps on us. And it's actually amazing if you just stop, think for a moment, what am I looking for? And what data there is to start with. So I've just sent everyone via the chat a PDF guide on EXIF. Forgive any typos, please. But it may help you. Members in the recording, I'll put a Dropbox link in there for you so you can download it. So it's basically, it's a 2-page PDF document, and it's the summary of EXIF fields. And I've racked the old brain, looked at the camera and so on, and I've tried to give you general ones that are available for all our cameras. So this is what you should have if you've opened it up, and there's a list of make of camera, model of camera, lens model, focal length, shutter, aperture, the aperture, f number, shutter speed, ISO, and so on. And there will be others, as John said, serial number. That's serial number of your camera as well as serial number of your lens. Okay, I haven't put that in this one because I'm not sure if every camera does that, but all of my cameras do. So metering mode. Okay, so do we know different metering modes? Do people know what metering modes are? Okay, so there's spot metering, where the camera will take the light value of a particular point in the camera, usually the focus point, and you would use that when you took a photograph. For example, if you were taking a picture of a bird or an otter, or perhaps a bride and groom in a doorway, and you wanted to expose for the narrative that you're focusing on. Okay, so you're not worried about the background. You want to make sure that bride and groom in the doorway of the church is correctly exposed. So you use spot metering for that. Then there's what they call group metering, spot group metering, which steps out a little bit. So it's like putting a circle round the whole of your subject, and the camera will take an average exposure reading for a larger area than just that spot. And then there's evaluated metering or matrix metering or 3D metering, all means the same. The camera will give you an average meter reading value of light across the whole sensor. And metering mode in your software will tell you what metering mode you used. Exposure compensation. I'm assuming everyone knows what exposure compensation is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where you might be an aperture priority or shutter priority, and you're going to override the camera, whatever the settings is. So for me, when I do street photography, I put my camera in auto ISO, I put it at f8, I put a shutter speed at 250, and I then underexpose by 2/3 of a stop of light using metering exposure compensation. Reason why I do that is I don't want to blow my highlights out. Okay, so if I'm walking along, going click, 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 camera at my knee, taking some pictures of people sitting on the bench, and there's a sky in there, I don't want the camera to overexpose the sky, blow the sky out. So that's why I do. So that would tell me in the EXIF data that I underexposed the camera by. So white balance, did you flash fire the flash mode through the lens metering? Did you have it on manual? Did you have it on aperture priority, shutter priority? Most cameras will only go up to 1/200th of a second flash. It's to do with the sync speed, first curtain, second curtain of your shutter. Although there are some cameras now with global shutters that will go a lot faster with flash. So it's flash mode, drive mode. So all this information we can search on. So how do we use it? This data, how do we use it? Well, there are two main ways you can use it. And carrying on from last week, can we look at smart collections? Now, this is a standard Lightroom application that I have here. If you have some plugins, you will have more searching functionality. Okay, plugins are third-party little apps that you can buy or that are free that allows you to do things. One is Big Note, for example. What's Big Note? Big Note is a little plugin. You get a panel on the right-hand side in the library in the develop module, and you can write a note. So it's like having a little post-it note stuck to the photograph, and it's a little plugin. It's totally free. That gives you more information in this drop down here that you can search on, because you can search on that little note that you've attached to an image. Okay. So EXIF data from your camera. So date, we've got capture time. So when did you capture it? Okay. So you can select a range a whole year if you wish. Okay, so Lightroom Classic will look at a whole range in your catalogue from the 1st of January to the 31st of December. It will present all those images to you. So every time your camera took a photograph, it saved the date and the time, and what's the other thing it would save in date and time? Anyone? Jay? No? The time zone. It saves that data in the file and we can search on it and we can adjust it. So I went to Dieppe a few weeks ago. The first day I forgot to change in one of my cameras the time zone plus 1 hour, CET, Central European Time. So all my times were an hour out, and in Classic I adjusted those. So therefore my GPS data on my tracker was correct, and also the pictures I took with my phone were correct with the time in my camera. But we can search on this information, and where it becomes really, really powerful is when we add multiple questions, because that's what a smart collection is. I'm asking questions to find the answers, or in this case, images. So I could say, show me all the photographs that I took from January 2001. So January 2022, 1st of January 2022 until, let's say, December 2024. Okay, so I'm just going to test. Right. And these are all the pictures. You saw how quick that was. 1,351 images. Okay, that's how many in this catalogue I took in that date range. But I could add more information by pressing the plus and say, well, what else would I like to search on? I'm looking for an image. Okay, so what was my camera? Camera is or contains the word Nikon. Okay, we've gone now down to 1,211. So I'm asking these questions, and it has to be 100% precise. If I put in there Nikon ZF, capital Z, small f, it's finding some, but not all of them. Okay, so you have to be really precise in your questions you're asking. It's a yes or no answer. Okay, so by using, I don't want the PDF anymore. I was just looking for that PDF again. By using the information, we can find things quicker, but we have to know what questions to ask. So, for example, this image here, I knew the photograph, okay, but I couldn't find it. I misfiled it, okay. And I go, what was that picture of that dog that I took? Oh, it was on New Year's Day swim. So I know where I am because I was on the beach at Minehead taking pictures. So I know that. What else do I know from the photograph? Because I've got it in my mind. I'm looking at it now, but I've got it in my mind. It was a landscape photograph. Okay. I know the date. I know where I was. And I know it's a landscape photograph. What else do I know? Well, I probably took it with a camera. What camera did I have there? So there's another piece of information. I won't know what lens I took. I won't know what depth of field I took. I won't know what shutter speed I took. I won't know the ISO, but I know this information. And I can search for it different ways. So I can say, coming down, develop. Have I edited it? Haven't I edited it? That's IPTC data. And I'm just looking for, where is it? It's under size, I think now. Yes, they've moved it. Under size, aspect ratio. I know the picture I took is landscape. Okay, so I knew it was in a particular year. So I knew it was a particular day. So I can change this now is on a particular day, 2001-01, but it's only going to show one image. Right, so I knew on this day, and I knew it was landscape. There's the one image. Okay, I've searched this catalogue, which has got exactly 2,500 images in there. I've asked 2 questions. All I knew was I took it on that day, and it was a landscape photograph. And it gave me the answer. Both those pieces of data came from the camera. Okay? I didn't know anything else apart from that. I knew it was a landscape picture and I knew it was on that day. Now, if it was in my main catalogue, I'd probably have lots of images there. Okay? And then I could start asking questions, more questions about things. And I would do this via the filter bar, library filter bar. Okay? If you don't see it, you press the backslash, which is by the return key, it comes up across the top. And we want the metadata. And all the questions that you want to ask are under this drop down. Okay, there's a little bar. And as default, you get 4 of these questions. Okay, but if you come underneath the padlock, you'll see you can add, what's up here? Oh, they moved it. There it is, underneath the padlock, there it is. You can add an additional column to the left or the right. And if I remember rightly, it's 6 columns, so it's 6 questions you can ask, and you can remove the column. Okay, if you want this view to stay, you can click on the padlock. So at this moment, I'm looking in this test collection. Okay, I'm looking here. And it's telling me there's one date, and there's the date. Okay, it's one image. There's my camera. There's the lens. And there's no labels. But I could change these to show me more information. So let's get more images. So let's go to my folders. I'm going to search all the 2000 folders. So date, that's a classic example. We know what we're looking for, date. So I'm looking for an image that was taken in 2008. There's 65 images. And it gives me the camera. Or it could be, what's more interesting is the lens. I want a wide shot. So I knew I went to this place to take these pictures of this train, and I'm looking for a wide shot. I have no idea where they're filed, which is why I'm looking in this folder. I'm looking at all my images in this catalog. I'm looking at this date because I knew that I was there on that date. And I'm saying, right, I'm looking for an image. I've got it in my mind, or I'm looking for a nice wide shot. So, right, okay, so let's choose my lens. There's my lens. I've now got 34 images. So I've gone from 2,500 to 65, from 65 to 34. And now I might say, I now want a nice shallow depth of field. So what's my depth of field? All this data is coming from the camera. So my shallowest depth of field is this image here, 5.3. Okay. But I might turn around and say, actually, I want a larger depth of field. Show me the images that I took that are large depth of field. And here's f8, f8.5. So I'm asking these questions. All this information is in your camera. And it's now about, okay, what do I do with it? And we can start asking more complex questions, especially when you get into, in my case, 400,000 images. And I've misfiled them, I've lost them, or whatever. I can sit there and say, right, okay, show me, look at all my images. I know I took it in 2022. What did I take it with? Well, there we go. I don't know. Well, it probably was an iPhone picture. I probably took it with the rear cameras, so or rear lenses. So back lens, back lens, back lens. So there we go. There's the 4 images I took in 2022 with my iPhone 12 using the back lens, and there's several back lenses, and there's my images. Okay. So it's a really, really powerful tool that we can use in collections as a smart collection, or we can use it in the library module in our drop downs. Okay. So does anybody want to look for a certain image, and let's run through it? Anyone? Gone awfully quiet. No? Go on, shout out a year. Somebody shout out a year.
2023.
2023. Okay. So let's do it via a collection first. Capture date, right, is in 2023. So date range. Okay. 301. Okay, so I went on a cruise. I can't remember the date that I went on the cruise, but was it August? Was it September? Can't remember. So let's have a look. So 12/31. Okay, let's take the bottom one. So now I'm just going to ask for a smart collection to show me all those images. Okay. And there's all the images I took. Now, why do we use smart collections? Anybody? What can we do with the smart collection once we've found the answer? What's really easy to do?
Use the filter bar at the top to then narrow it down even further.
Yeah. Well, once I've got my final picture, final image, I found it, or group of images, I found it. What can I do with a smart collection that Jay asked about last week? Anyone?
You can't share a smart collection, can
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, you're in the right place.
Right.
Can't share it. So what would I do with that final collection?
Duplicate it.
Yeah, and duplicate it to what?
Save
To a
it to an
static
ordinary.
collection.
Yeah, to a normal collection. So I'm using the smart collection to ask the question. I could use the library filter on the EXIF data, on the IPTC data, to find the images that I'm looking for, and then I would create a static collection, share it, or put it in the cloud to go across my other devices. So we've asked the date, okay? And now let's see, we don't need date in the first column. So I'm going to bring back metadata. Don't need date in the first column because I've got the date in the collection. Okay. So I'm now going to go camera, and there's all the cameras. Z52, 180. So I've gone from 2,500 down to 211, down to 180. And let's just make this up. I'm looking for, let's have a look, a shallow depth of field. Okay. So let's have a look at aperture. So there we go, 1.8. I've got two images here, 1.8. Let's see let's go F4 because there's more images. Okay, so F4. All right, so I'm looking for that shallow depth. And I could, if I hold the shift key, I can select multiple answers. So I've now got 16, 19, 20 images. So we've got 20 here. Okay, and now I could say, show me the orientation. Okay, so let's go up. What's it under these days? Develop, aspect ratio, and show me the portrait images. And there's 3 images, and I've found the image that I'm looking for. Okay. Now, the question I said is, I've used the smart collection to search on, in this case, EXIF data that's come from the camera. We'll look at IPTC next week and adding the two together. All right. I'm searching on the data from the camera. The date I did by smart collection, then the camera, then the aperture, then the aspect ratio, all from the camera. Now what I would do is, oh, those are the 3 images. I would go create plus, that's one way of doing it, a collection, test 2, select the photographs by ticking this box because they're selected, they see they're grayed out, and sync with the cloud. Press create. There is, if I just come off that, just turn this off so the screen changes. There's my 211. There's my 3 images. And those 3 images are now in a collection, static collection. That's one of Jay's words, thank you. That is now being synced to the cloud. I could share it with somebody, or they could just stay on my devices for me to cull, pick and reject in the environment that I wish to, the physical environment that I wish to do them, rather than sitting here. How do I share them? We just hit make public. URL's generated. There's the URL. I can go right click, copy, open in browser, and I can send that as a text message, as instant messenger, as WhatsApp, whatever I want to do. I could also come down to where it says test 2, right click, sync, and they're there as well. Okay, I do see this is now changed. This used to be a short URL. It used to be an Adobe URL. It used to be odo.be, sorry, and then a short URL. So that's a long URL. That's changed. Whether that's a bug, I don't know, but that's interesting. So yeah, I'm using the EXIF data, okay, and I'm doing it via a smart collection and my filter bar. But I don't need to use a smart collection. I could just do it by my filter bar. Okay, so, and it's wherever I'm looking. So I could say 2022, there's all my images that I took in 2022. Show me the attributes. Okay, and there's the answer. All right, but why aren't I showing those 3 images? Is it 2022 we asked?
23.
Is it 23? Yes, you're right, 23. So I've made a mistake. The computer hasn't. Okay, so I thought it's 22. No, it's 23. There's actually the 3 answers because I've left them selected in the columns. Okay, why is this still there? Because I've got the lock key padlock turned on. If I click off now, they disappear. Okay, if I lock it, there's a little padlock top right hand corner where it says custom filter. I can now jump around. The answers will change. The information wherever I'm clicking will change, but the questions will be the same. So these are the questions, okay? And they're looking in these 2 places for pictures taken with the Z5. And there are no pictures in these 2 locations, 2017, 2018, taken with the Z5. Okay. I could go to the top. There's 42 images taken with all cameras. Well, what camera did I own then? Oh, I owned a 600D. Well, there's actually only 1 image in there. There's the aperture. And this is all data that comes from the camera. Okay. So what piece of information comes from the camera that is IPTC? There's 1 piece of data that comes from your camera that's IPTC.
The file name?
Sorry?
The file name?
No, that's still EXIF data because it's
Copyright?
see, these are more files. Okay, so depending on your camera, well done, Joan. Depending on your camera, you have a field that you can write your name in and it burns it into the image. Okay, so Nikon have artist and copyright holder and it burns it into the file. Okay, So that's again, EXIF data again. But there's an IPTC piece of information. Anyone? It's my favorite button, FN2.
Stars.
Yeah, ratings. Ratings is an IPT piece of information. Why is it an IPTC information?
Because it will travel over all mediums.
Well, that's the result of what stars does. Yes, you're totally right, David. But why is it IPTC?
It's your personal choice, not the camera's.
Brilliant. Well done, John. IPTC is what you give, and we normally give that in Lightroom. Title, description, keywords. That's IPTC. We're giving the information. EXIF is what's in the camera. When you press the button, that's EXIF data. Date, time, GPS if you have that. Yeah, file name, shutter speed, aperture priority. Some cameras, Nikon Z6, Sue, Z6 III, Joan, David, Z9, they capture audio files like a little memo recorder. You can press one button. Oh, and Z52. You can press a little button there and you can speak to the camera and say, this person is, his name is, da, 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 and it's spelled, da, 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 and you record that audio file to the camera. But that's IPTC because we're giving it the information. Yeah. So there's another field depending on your camera. But there's one field that goes across all cameras. Oh, I've never seen a camera that's not a modern camera and works in all applications. And that's your stars, your ratings. And that's an IPTC because we're applying that data. So that is, to my knowledge, the only IPTC field that is uniform across all cameras that you can apply and bring with you. And for those that don't know, I'm sorry, the people that do know, I bore you. I use ratings for the unique identifier of it's that field that I can associate with an image that goes across all devices and all software. So I do not use ratings 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 stars for that's a good night. That's a bad night bed. That's a good night bed. That's better and better and better, you know, or that's a decent hotel or decent restaurant. I use them for a particular reason. I use stars to ask questions. So 1 star on the back of a camera is I like it. So I'm out on a safari. David and I have gone to Kenya again. I'm dreaming away, David. And we're shooting both there with our Z9s and our 600 f4s. We're taking loads of pictures of giraffes and hippos and so on. And I'm just scrolling through the back of the camera and I press FN2. I like it. It puts 1 star on there. That's IPTC. Just because the user interface has changed, I'm giving it the information. The EXIF data is already in the file. In my Z9, if I record in an audio file, that's IPTC. But audio files are not available on this camera, for example. So it's not every camera. But the 1 star I apply to an image in camera is an identifier to say I like it on the back of the camera. And that comes with the file. All right, so that's IPTC. But when we take the photograph, we're recording all that information and it depends on our camera. But in the list, I went through everything that I could think of. Might be one I've missed or two or whatever, of that information. And we can search on it. We can just, yeah, and we can ask multiple questions. And next week, we'll look at searching with the EXIF and IPTC, answering questions immediately. And I think I said last week, I was looking for a picture of an ice cream trailer and I printed it out. And I found it in less than 20 seconds out of 480,000 images at the time. I found it in less than 20 seconds because I looked at the photograph. Right, okay. That, I think I took it with my Z5 and it was one of the first pictures I took. So that was 2022 with that Z5, right? Okay. I remember walking down there or whatever. What else is it? The picture is portrait. So there's two questions that I have that I can ask Classic. And I look at the subject. Oh, they're wearing sandals, shorts, t-shirts, summer hat. They're eating ice cream. So it's got to be in the summer. So I went from 480,000 images down to 9,991 images in 2022. And by asking those three questions, I've gone down to 26 images and I found the image. And that was all EXIF data. It was the data from the camera. I hadn't got to pick, I hadn't got to color labels, I hadn't got to keywords. I'd edited it and I printed it as a big print like this. But I hadn't, it was a yellow color label for me. I hadn't finished the keywording or started the keywording, hadn't put a title in it. My Z5 was not GPS, so I couldn't search via the map module. But by asking questions of your picture, when was it? What shape is the image? Roughly when I took it, I was able to, say, within 20 seconds, come back with the answer. Okay, so let's have one more, have a quick look. Okay, so I've shown you to do it with a collection, but we can just do it on the filter bar. So let's see if we can find, here we go, Z5, or let's do the Z7 II. There's 1,000 pictures here. What else do I know about the image? Yeah, we can look at shutter speed. Do I want a fast shutter, a long shutter? So I'm looking for a picture that I took 2,500 images. I took with this camera and it was a long shutter speed because I knew, I haven't got the date. I just knew I took it with that camera and it's a long shutter speed. I'm looking for streaky clouds or I'm looking for milky water. And there's one there of 2 minutes. There's one here of 30 seconds. One here of 25 seconds, 20 seconds. Okay. And then I can move on to the next question. So let's find one here, half a second. Okay, 62 images. And then aspect ratio, they've only got one aspect ratio there. But I could sit there and go, right, what was my focal length? What lens did I use? I could ask that question first, or my focal length. So it's 70 mil. See if I've got any, there we go, 200 mil. Okay. So these are intentional camera movement at a hand wall. There's 70 millimeters. Okay, so what camera did I take? What lens did I take this is? Well, it was the 70 to 200, 2.8. And then what was my focal length? So I can now look at the focal lengths for the shapes and the designs that I'm looking for. Okay, all this information's here. And I can compare the images. Now, what I could do for this now, okay, let's create a collection. I'm going to create a collection and I'm just going to call it test 3. I'm not going to select any images, but there's this wonderful functionality called a target collection. The target is bullseye, okay? And I'm pressing create. And if we look at where the collection is test 3, there's a little plus here. The plus is the target. So anything I ask Classic to do, it's going to put it in that target collection. Several ways I can do this. I can have an active image, which this is an active image. It's grayed out. Press the letter B and the image is gone in the target collection. But I could also use the paint can. I've clicked on the paint can and the toolbar. If you don't see the toolbar, press T. Okay, and if you still don't see the tool in the toolbar, you come down to the bottom right-hand corner. We have all the tools that are available in the toolbar. And we're going to go on the paint can or painter. And I've taken it off the dock. I've taken it off the shelf, like if we're going to use a paint can. And I've got these functionality. And I'm going to go add to target collection. So I'm now looking through the images. I like that one. And I spray on it, actually on the image, not on the cell, on the image itself. And if I go to, there we go, there's a second image there. Okay. So I could go through and go, right, okay, I knew I took it with this camera. I'm looking for a slow shutter speed. Okay, so there's nothing there. Let's go next one up. No, I don't like that one. There's that one. Don't like that one. Don't like that one. Let's go back to, here we go, this same day. And I could put in the date first. So, date. On here, these were the 16th. 2024, 16th to 11th. 2024, 11, 16. So there's the images that I took. And now we want focal length. We wanted, what did we look at? Aperture, wasn't we? There's aperture and shutter speed, wasn't it? Okay, so there's the shutter speeds that I took on the day. There's the faster shutter speeds. We were looking for slower shutter speeds. There we go, 15th of a second. Let's see if there's anything there. No, there's nothing in that one. 200th of a second. No, nothing in that one. 5th of a second. Here we go. Right. So I quite like that one. And I'm spraying on the image. It doesn't have to be the active image. I'm just spraying on the image. I like those. I like that. I like this one. So I'm using the filter bar to show me the images. And I could sit there and add another question if I wanted to. So 70 millimeters, my focal length. I like this one. Quite like this one. I'm looking for the images and I'm just spraying on them, okay? If I then put the can back on the dock, you always have to put the can back on the dock. Now go to the collection, turn my filter bar off. There's the images that I've just selected. So I've used a smart collection, or I've used the drop-down filter bars to find my EXIF data. Then I've used the paint can to spray on the image to add it into that collection. So what could I do with this collection now? Anyone?
Sync it with Lightroom in the cloud.
Yeah, I could sync it in the cloud. I could just sync it. If I wanted to edit them and I wasn't sure what stylization, I could duplicate the collection. There it is, I've duplicated it. But all I've done, if I duplicate the collection, it's a copy. Okay, that's all it is. It's taking a copy. Well, if I want to explore different ways of editing, I want to select all the images, press plus, create a collection, call it test 4. Anybody? What's the tick box?
Selected photo.
Yeah, and one more.
Virtual copies.
Virtual copies. Well done, Jay. Okay, so now these are virtual copies. What's the difference? Let's just take the first image. Okay, and we're just going to change the crop. Going to make it square. Okay, put that in there just for so you see the difference like that. So there's the image. I go back to there's the first image and it hasn't changed. Go to black and white, go back to G. It's the same image, but it's a virtual copy. So it allows me to take artistically the image in different directions. And I can compare the two collections. Okay, I don't have to have them in two collections, but I can have them in two collections. Okay, That's what virtual copies do. So you can create a second copy. Now, I use the collections in a way of organizing my images. So as I go through stages, first cull, second cull, third cull, I'm now looking for images from that project in an orientation or for a particular use, X Camera Club competition. So I've got smart collections of images that Camera Club say, oh, you've got to have an image taken in the last 3 weeks. So I will use a smart collection to show me all the images that I've taken in the last 3 weeks. Then I'll copy that to a collection. Then I'll then start culling that collection. Okay, so that's how I use collections. I use it as a part of my methodical workflow. And I can just remove or delete the collection. Doesn't delete the image, doesn't remove the image from your catalogue.
Mark, could I just ask,
Yeah.
in that situation now with Smart Collection, could you move the individual images around in that?
In a collection, yes. So if you come down to the bottom, it's got sort order. So again, we've got information from EXIF or IPTC. So we've got geolocation. You can sort by geolocation. That comes from GPS, or it will come from the map module if you've manually put it on. Aperture, focal length, so I can sort by focal length. Okay. Capture time, I can sort by, that's my default capture time. In my workflow, I have everything in capture time, date and capture time. But when I get to sequencing, which is a whole another subject, so 6-week module at university. If you do a BA in photography, not most of them will do a 6-week module on sequencing. When I get to my final cull and edit, and I'm now ready to put them in the right order, you come down the bottom, it's got custom order. And now you can drag and move them around however you want them to do. Okay, when you sync that to the cloud, custom order here and custom order in Lightroom both must be selected to show the same view. Okay, so if I open Lightroom, let me sync that to the cloud. G. Just wait for them to sync. I'm going to sync, was it 4? I think it was 4, wasn't it? Yeah. There it comes. So if I go here, so down here, we've got custom order. And that must be selected as well to show the same order as what you're seeing here. And a lot of people say that to me, oh, Mark, it's not showing the same order that I have it in Classic. It's because you haven't selected custom order. At the moment, you think about it, it's like asking a question. Okay, and you're giving the answer in this user interface in Lightroom. It's giving it in date order. Okay, so you're sorting it again. And there we go. So I'm in custom order. There we go. So the third one is black and white. Third one is black and white. Okay, it's in the same order.
That was only in collections, not Smart Collections, that you can.
Smart collection. You can do it in Smart Collection. Yeah, it's the same principle.
Okay.
There we go. Has anyone any questions about that?
No, thank you.
Joan hasn't. Has anybody else? Yeah. So the last bit is really have a look at your camera, have a look at the file, and I'll show you one little bit in a second where you can see all this information in Classic. and it will come from your phone, it will come from your camera, and it's all displayed in one particular panel in Classic. But as I said, the PDF that I've shared with you is general EXIF data. Your camera will have unique data. When these companies, Nikon, Canon, Fuji, they have their own, what's the word, priority, can't say it, priority, not priority. Anyway, they have their own system and they put information in different places. So Adobe has to understand how the cameras work. And that's where D&G came from. So David, Mr. Weeks, you shoot Panasonic, don't you? That's D&G, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So when Nikon, when Canon, when Fuji shoot, you press the button, it puts things in the file. The bit that we never see or understand is they put the information in particular orders, and Adobe has to read that order. Well, when D&G came along, digital negative, it was like they gave it away, the idea, the concept of everything unified. You know, it's like our cars, clutch, brake, and accelerator pedals are on. All cars are all the same, but not everyone's adapted that. So the color information, color science, because Nikon red and Canon red are two different reds, and they put all the information in different spaces. So last bit of information for you. So I'm going to go to this image here and click on the side panel. And over here on the right hand side, we have this metadata. Okay. And this is where you'll see all the information that's come from the file. You can have the default, which will show information that Lightroom will tell you, but you can actually customize it. So it's a default for you. So if there's particular information that you always want, file type, we can just tick the box. Okay. How many megapixels? That's done. And it'll show it here. So file type DNG. So you're building your own view in metadata. Okay. File name, the folder it was kept in. You can select that. But the default.
Mark, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to leave the meeting, but thank you very much.
No problem.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. So EXIF data is what comes from your camera. And as you can see, this is a standard. So we've got file name, got path, that's where the file's kept. Dimensions, that's the size of the image, how many pixels. Crop, if it's been cropped, this image hasn't. Date and time, when it was digitized, so the time zone, shutter. So this was half a second, f/22, the focal length. I shot it in DX mode. How can I tell that? Anyone? My focal length is at 70 millimeters, but the focal length at 35 was 105, which 70 plus 35, that's 1.5 crop. So that's been cropped in my camera. So I've gone from full frame FX to DX. What does that do? It gives me extended reach. I'm cropping in on the sensor using a full frame lens. So that's how I can tell from that EXIF information. So there's a classic example here that I would have not known that from the image. This is a smaller image. Okay. Exposure, compensation, it's called exposure bias in Lightroom. My ISO, flash, manual exposure, center weighted metering, Nikon Z7 II, my serial number, my lens. I took it, the artist, that came from the camera. Okay. What software I'm using, my GPS coordinates, and then my altitude. That's all within the camera. If you just look down the right-hand side, you'll see little tick boxes, little arrows. I click on one, press G. There's all the images that I've taken with that camera. That particular camera, not that model of camera. That's the one above. That particular serial number of a camera. Okay, so that's all there. There's the lens. Show me all the pictures I took that lens. There we go. So all that EXIF information, really, really powerful.
How did you modify what's shown?
Okay, so you go up to the metadata
Yeah.
and you select default. Okay, so that is what, if you haven't touched it, that's what Lightroom gives you. If you come down the bottom, there's customize.
Oh, customize.
Click on the
Okay.
customize and you can rearrange the orders. You can do whatever you want. And there is all the data from IPTC, EXIF, but also the additional plugins that you may have, keywords, and you can build your own panel, video, everything that data-wise is all there. You can say you can customize it so it goes there. Okay, so if you have big note, that would be down here, the files. Yeah, all the information. Okay, everything. Camera information. Look, all this information here. All comes artists, user comments. So some cameras, you can type a note in on the actual image. As I said earlier, some cameras, it's an audio file. Okay. Some cameras, the GPS in the camera does longitude, latitude, altitude. That's standard. Some cameras have direction. So it's like a compass. It's pointing that way. There's the direction. Altitude, GPS, direction. There's 5 axis. The 3 files. Okay, so that's all come. And different manufacturers, how much money have you paid for your camera, will give you different information or more information.
And the other thing is, this is all dependent on digital cameras.
Yep.
You know, people that are taking analog film are not going to have this information.
Well, you will. Let me just change camera. You will from the scanning software.
But that's not, the scanning software is not relevant. It's the wrong time, it's the wrong camera, it's the wrong lens.
But you can, if you've got that information in your scanning software profile, you can type that information into it. You could do it in Lightroom, yes.
No, you can only change you can only change the date created in Lightroom.
Yes, yeah, but you could apply. So I think it was on the Nikon F3. In the space between the negatives, it would actually print the date and time it was taken. There was a digital back, I think it was for the F3, that allowed you to you type the the little, like a Casio watch, little date and time. You could program it and put in 2 little D-cell batteries, and when you went like that, it burnt onto the film the date and time outside the picture. I know that's irrelevant now to you, but there were options. But you can write in the profile of your scanning the date and time, and that will take it into the digital file that you're scanning and bring that across. So it might not be all the information, but you could put in there the camera type. If you've still got the camera, the serial number, you can say, what, this batch, you create a profile in the what software do you use? Because we got the same one. I can't remember.
It's negative Lab Pro or negative.
Yeah, Lab Pro or something like. Well, that's the
Yeah,
Lightroom one, but there's a scanning software we both use. I can't remember what it's called.
yeah.
We don't use the. Well, it'll come to me in a minute. Let's just have a quick look.
Well, I've started to use my digital camera
Yeah,
to scan
yeah,
negatives.
yeah.
Um,
That's what I do that occasionally as well. It's not software. It's not. View scan.
View scan. Yes, I do
So
use
in
that.
view scan, you can create a profile. So you give it the information, very much like IPTC presets. You
Right,
give it the information. So this camera, this serial number, shot at this time, this date. You know, if you're a photojournalist, you'd write a lot of notes and so on, date,
right.
time, and location where you shot this and so on, because your picture editor will want that. You could scan that in as a profile. But yeah, there's lots of things you could do, but that's
And some of the manual lenses are now putting in contacts to create information.
yep,
So that's getting better.
yep,
But
yep,
traditionally, if you've bought a manual focus lens, it doesn't provide
yep.
the information.
There are technologies getting very interesting now with the adapters. When
Right,
mirrorless came out, there were very few adapters, and now there are adapters that will take a manual focus lens and the adapter will focus it for you because mirrorless cameras have got what they call focus peaking. So the camera works out what you're focusing on and it will focus a manual lens for you. There are the Nikon ZF does that. Absolutely amazing, built into the camera with the focus peaking. But there are adapters so you can take a Sony lens or a Leica lens and put it on a Fuji or a Nikon or a Canon or whatever and cross, and the manual lens will work. So yes, so there is Nikon did the AFD lens. The motor was a little tiny screw in the corner, and somebody has now done an adapter that will allow you to use your AFD lenses with a mirrorless camera because they've made this adapter that's got a little screw in it that actually turns the
right,
lens, the focusing
right,
bit in the
right,
lens.
right.
So the equation changes every week. Somebody comes out with a new idea or a
Right.
new this or new that. But there is so much data, um, and I hope today's just giving you a and I didn't know I could search for that lens or that shutter speed or that location if it was got GPS on there. And then when you build it with IPTC, with data picking and stars or color labels or keywords or whatever, you can find images in seconds. And the trick is automating it. That's the trick, and being a little bit organized. So working through a workflow of this is what I'm going to do and sticking to that workflow. And if it's wrong, changing it, but changing it for all of it. So for example, my workflow is I create a collection set. That's my project or the category, if you want to say. So I've got a collection set called WIP, work in progress. All my questions are in that work in progress catalog. I then have another collection set that's called images. And those are the images that I found from searching for images that are part of a project. So it'll be images, and then it'll be a project. So it might be Jimmy Savile. There's all the images that are keyworded Jimmy Savile, but I've got another smart collection. Say those are all those images that I took in this geographical area. Then I've got more smart collections where those are all my drone shots. Those are all my video shots in this collection set. So I've got like 10 collections of grouping them all those images together. And then I then start looking at what images do I want. I create another collection set and I go through culling them. Bear in mind, once I've finished the project, I only want perhaps a couple of collections and the final collection of images, the final choices. So I remove all the collections that I don't use. I ask questions, whether it's depth of field, whether it's date, whether it's landscape, whether it's portrait, what my favorite images. Has anybody got a collection called your favorite images? All your images, favorite images, ones that you like?
It's a good idea. I think I will now do
Yeah.
that.
So I'm not going to mention any names, but somebody here, I had this conversation. I go, but why? And that person, don't shout the answer out, please. Why would you have a collection that you have all your favorite images in there? I can think of two reasons. I'm still racking my brain for more, but anyone?
We share it with somebody else.
Yeah, you could do. Yeah, that's a third one.
Well, for things like printing or Christmas cards or stuff, that would be a place to go to first.
Yeah, well, to go first and create another collection from.
Yeah.
So the two reasons that I could think of generically. Firstly, they're my favorite images. Why are they my favorite images? Because they're the most engaging emotionally images to me. They make me feel happy. So you're feeling sad, you're feeling down, you're cheering up. Straight away you can go to that collection on your iPad, on your phone, and all those happy memories come back to you.
Well, actually, that's really a good reason, because when you're editing intensely, you're mostly disappointed. Anyway, because you say, "Oh God, why didn't I just have slightly different view?
Yeah.
Why didn't
Yeah.
I do that?"
Yeah.
So I find editing gets hard because you're dealing with all the negative aspects and
Yeah.
trying to compensate for them. So it would be really refreshing to go to your favorites and say, "Oh, gee, I really am a good photographer."
Yeah. That's one answer. I was thinking more of mental health. You're just feeling down on the morning or whatever, and the coffee hasn't kicked you out the backside type of thing, and you just want cheering up, and you got pictures of grandchildren in there, your favorite times on the beach with them having ice cream, or funny times in your life. It doesn't matter that the focus is soft or whatever. They're your favorite images. Yeah. So that's one reason why I have a favorite collection of my images. There's about 30 or 40 images in there. The other reason, and actually it's a second favorite, is my photography style, my photography acceptability. I really like that. I'm proud of that picture. I took that picture, but it's a photograph. It's a photographic. It's not a memory. It's that picture that I took. I'm really proud of that one. It's pin sharp. It's this and that. But I took it 6 years ago. Where have I got to in my photography in those 6 years? So it's a way of moment in time. How good am I as a photographer, understanding my equipment and my editing? So I have two. Those are my favorite cheer me up images, which is a great thing to have, and that's shared on my devices. But I have another one which is for my standards, my what do I shoot, what am I proud of, what would I print out 6 foot by 4 foot and hang them off the motorway bridge or freeway bridge for everybody to see, those type of photographs. But you go back at them and say, did I really edit it like that 6 months later or 2 years later? Your palette has changed, your style of photography has changed, your acceptability. Oh crikey, I wouldn't have edited it like that now, because you've learned new techniques, you've learned new shooting styles, you've learned new processing styles. So that's another reason why we have our favorite images. It's a way that we can reference back to say, I was really proud of, oh bloody hell, I'm not now. That's absolute crap, because my editing has got so much better because I've continued 10 minutes every day to find these tools, understand these tools, practice these tools, and you get on and suddenly gets quicker and faster. And it's a way of judging yourself and your photography. So those are the two reasons. I keep them in two different collections. My favorite personal emotional images. It's one, cheer me up, mental health, etc. Or I'm just feeling down or bored or tired or whatever. I want cheering up. I just one click, there they are. And then the other collection, my favorite photographic images. And it's a way that I judge myself on my photography. And it's okay to have the same image in both collection. Okay.
Yeah.
So anyone, any questions about EXIF? No?
No.
No. It's basically the data from your camera. And so I tried in that PDF to give you general information. You can customize it in Classic, the view, if you want, so you leave it on default. But you can ask these questions with Smart Collections, with the filter bar, and it's quicker to find your images. And if it's a particular style of photography you like, you're a slow shutter speed photographer, you might have Smart Collections with a shutter speed. You might have a favorite shutter speed or a favorite depth of field. You might be a portrait photographer. You like doing lots of portraits, and you love your 85mm 1.2 lens, but you only want to see your 1.2 images. So you've got a Smart Collection that's set up as that. There's all the images that I took with my 85mm at 1.2 aperture. And then you use the filter bar to say, show me all the ones that I took on this day, or show me all the ones that I took that are portrait, show me all the ones that are this keyword. And we'll look at that next week, keywords. Okay. But it really is powerful, but it will depend on your camera and your brand, the information you can search on. All right. So anyone got any questions? Anyone need any help for anything?
Yes, Mark, I've got a bit of an issue at the moment. For some reason, I've been moving some files around, trying to tidy up from one drive to another and get everything in the same place.
Yeah.
And I came across some folders that are quite old, which they were in narrative folders rather than in date folders, and found that they weren't actually in Lightroom.
Okay.
So I didn't batch import like I know I should have done. I imported the whole lot at one go.
Right. Okay.
And they won't build standard previews.
They won't build standard.
Doesn't build a standard preview. It imported all the photographs.
Yeah.
And the box at the top left-hand corner where it says building standard preview.
Yeah.
Just never moves. And I left it switched on for 24 hours and nothing moved at all.
Okay.
So I actually cancelled that, and now I've got a grid of grey squares.
Okay. So my first response would be, how many images did you import? 100, 10,000, 20,000, 600?
1,000. 1,000.
Okay. Well, most computers should have handled that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm on a Mac Mini 2.
Okay. What I would do is go to the folder, lower down into the date folder, or even if it's just one folder with 1,000 images, select 25 of them. So click on the first one, click on number 25. So you're creating a smaller collection of images, yeah? Selection of images. And then you just go up to your library, come down to previews.
Library, yeah.
And how's that work?
It didn't. I tried it on just one photograph and it didn't work. But that's a photograph still within the same collection.
Okay. Do you actually see the image in the develop module? If you press D on the image, what do you get?
Yeah, I do.
You see the image. So it's reading the image, but it's not creating the preview. Have you got Lightroom on your computer?
Yes.
I wonder what it looks like in the grid view in Lightroom local.
Just
So
a
we're
moment.
trying to be a detective here, work out
Yeah,
where the
yeah.
issue is.
So in Lightroom local, oops.
And then go to the folder structure where the file is. And do you get previews?
All the structure web file. Yeah, that's down there. There.
Yes.
Yeah, that gets a preview.
That gets a preview. So
Yeah.
it doesn't sound like it's a file issue. It sounds like it's a Lightroom catalog issue. When was the last time you did now where is it? Your Mac, aren't you? Optimize your catalog. It's under file.
Yeah, usually when it backs
When
up
it
each week,
backs
it
up,
optimizes the
okay.
catalog. Actually, it's not been backed up because I only back up weekly. It's not been backed up since I imported these files, so that may.
Okay, so I'd run a file optimize. So select that folder and see if there's something catalog wise. The other thing that I would look at is, have you got switched on? Got to remember where it is. There's an XMP to it. Where is it?
Yeah, I think I have.
Yeah, make sure. Oh, that's new. That's new. You read all these notes that Adobe sends you, and oh right, okay, and then they don't tell you about half of these things. Where is it? Catalog settings under previews. So okay, so under catalog settings, under preview, so Lightroom Classic previews. Try increasing down the bottom. You've got limit preview cache. Try increasing that a little bit. I don't know how big.
Settings.
So Lightroom Classic, come down to catalog settings, second
Oh yeah,
tab over.
previews. Yeah.
And increase the cache. That may help you. Let me know how you get on.
Yeah, will do. Thank you.
So try those couple of things and see, even on this machine, it says my cache is full. Increase it. And I'm at
Right.
5 gig. So, and um, I've only got 2,500 images in this catalog at 5 gig because I use one-to-one previews, because I use smart previews. So I think I've got 50 gig in my main catalog. So have a look at that. But if you're seeing the previews in
Lightroom.
Lightroom, then I don't think they're file issues.
Right. I'll try when I finish tonight. I'll back it up and optimize the catalog and then see if that makes any difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Anyone else any questions?
Yeah, Mark, I've got a quick one. I can't clear my cache, and the reason I can't clear it in Lightroom Classic is because it's no longer there and I can't find it.
Okay, so there is a plugin.
This is a plugin and it's always been there.
Yeah.
And it said, I've read, if it's missing, do this, that, and the other, and it wasn't ticked. So I've ticked it, but it's not, I still can't find it.
Have you got the plugin somewhere?
If I have, I've no idea where.
Okay, so you'll need to log into. Let's just find it. There we go. No, that's not it. Okay, so you'll need to log into your account. Okay, so for people that need to know, in the chat is the plugin manager. So there's a plugin. So plugins allow you to do optional things, and there's one of them where when you do lots of things in these programs, they leave what they call footprints. What you've been doing, where you've been doing, and so on, and you can clear those temporary files out. and somebody's written this plugin. It's £5. And what it does, it goes through your catalog and all the things that aren't there. So to give you an example, if you've deleted a file, you don't need all the information that relates to that file in Classic anymore, and that's in the cache. And this plugin will remove that information. So it's £5 a buy, and I think it's a couple of quid a year for the license or whatever. So, and if you don't renew your license, it still works, just you don't get the newer versions. So I've put that in there, and what you'll need to do is reinstall the plugin. So how you do that is you come to Plugin Manager, and you go Add. You go and find the plugin. Okay, which will be photography, Lightroom, catalog settings, plugins. So these are all my plugins here. There's the plugin manager. So there it is there. It's running. Okay. And then once you've done that, you can go to, I think it's under plugin extras, or is it under plugin manager on this one? Plugin extras, there it is there. Clean your cache. So you need to go and find your plugin and reinstall it. Okay, and I'll show you how to do that again. All you do is you click add. So this is plugin manager. Come out of here. So plugin manager, it's under file. You go and find your plugin, press add. Go and find your plugin. There's my plugin that I've downloaded. You can re-download it, okay, from the site, which is why I've given you the link. You activate, add the plugin. So you click the blue button and it'll appear in here. And then you just need to run the plugin. Different plugins have different ways of running the plugins. Plugin extras, clean your cache. And clean the cache. And it will go through and it will clean it and a little pop-up will appear. And if I go back here, you can see, look, cache preview. There we go. So 100 out of 146 previews will be removed. Before I had 148 at 4 megs. Now I'll only have 48 at 0.01 meg. Okay. So I've just got rid of 4.5 megabytes. Over my big catalog, that'll be several gigabytes of information. And I do that once a month or so. Okay. Stop sharing.
All right, thanks.
Yeah. So
I've also got another question, but
yeah, go on then.
I'm just going to do a 20 minutes because
Okay.
it's still moving round. It's almost there, but I know there's an error and I've lost 4 days of photographic information by moving the wrong thing. I know
Right.
it's still there. I just can't get them back.
Well, okay.
20 minutes if that's okay.
Yeah. So yes, Jay.
I've got some phone images and they haven't been sinking in. The last image that sunk in was October 26th.
Okay.
When I went to the cloud and clicked and did the alt, one of the things I could choose is view sync status on the web.
Yeah.
When I do that, I see squares for those phone images, but they're grayed out, they're black.
Yeah,
So
that means they haven't yet either gone up or come down or whatever. So at some point you've terminated the syncing process. You may have deleted them from the device that you were syncing them. So it's like, I'm throwing you this ball, but then you don't throw the ball.
okay, no, I didn't delete
Yeah.
them.
Well,
So
that's
how do
one
I
scenario.
get the sync going? Good.
Book a 20 minutes. It'll
Okay.
probably take 2 hours, but book a 20 minutes
Okay,
and we
will
will
do.
sort out your syncing problem for once and all.
Okay, thank
right.
you. Will do.
All right, so
Yes.
just book a 20 minutes and
Yeah.
allow a couple of hours, and we will download everything out the cloud. We'll clear your cloud out. We'll take all. We'll make sure you don't lose your collections and so on. So we'll unsync all that. We'll clear your cloud out, so you're back to zero, and then we'll press the magic button, and everything in your collections will go back up again. Everything in your phone will sync. Let's clear it all out. Let's start from there, and then boom, you're back to where you should be.
Okay, will do.
Anyone, any other questions? Nope. Okay. Wednesday we are doing color picker, and if we get time, mixer tool in Lightroom Classic. So that's one for Sue and her lovely sunsets. How you can edit color locally and globally. And change color and the brightness of a color, etc. The tool is the same, but you can do it globally and locally. And then next week, we're going to look at IPTC. So we're going to look at that. I think we've got a few weeks after that. There's one about presets, but we might, if we get time, touch on presets. So you'll be able to now, you say, right, IPTC, I'm giving that information, EXIF doing that. You should be able to find any image. If I'm spending more than 15 to 30 seconds in finding an image, I've fundamentally done something wrong in my workflow. Fundamentally done something wrong. And I was really chuffed. That picture of see if I can just trying to think where it is on a website. So there you go. There's your image. That was the image that I was referring to that I lost. I couldn't find. I printed it out, but I couldn't find it in my catalogue. I knew it was taken with my Z5, which was my first mirrorless camera. I knew that it was portrait. I knew because I've got a big that size print of this downstairs. I knew that look, it's in the summer. And I was quite, chuffed with myself that in less than 20 seconds, I've searched 480 images, even though I hadn't put any metadata on it. So I hadn't put, it was in Mindhead. I hadn't put flags. I had color labeled it to yellow. But I hadn't put any keywords, nothing on it at all. So as it came out the camera, I put a yellow color flagged on it because I've edited it and then printed it. So that's all I'd done. But I knew enough from the photograph that I could find it in less than 20 seconds. Because I understood what data was in the camera, what questions to ask. And that's why I've done you that PDF. Have a look at what data, have a look at your other images in that EXIF drop down. What other questions you can ask. Understanding that, and you'll find images in second. Doesn't matter where they are, you'll find them. Oh, I remember I took a load of pictures when I went to Italy. Where are they? What camera did you take them with? When did you go? Oh, I've put them in the wrong month, or I've put them in the wrong year. And then you can put them in the right place. And whilst what I've done over the last few years is while I'm doing something to a group of images, I'm updating the information. So I'm not sitting here doing another 10,000 images done, another 10,000. It's when I go to a particular set of images that I'm looking for. Oh, right. These aren't keyworded. Oh, look, I've got 470 that aren't keyworded. I now select them and keyword them. I make sure they're in the right place. So as I go through my catalog, I find all these and I apply the metadata to them. Make sure they're in the right place. It's only 200 images. Got 5 minutes. I can quickly cull them. Oh, I really like that one. I'm going to edit that one next, and so on, etc. And that's what I do is I come across images. I don't sit here anymore nowadays and go through 10,000 images and so on. I just slowly as I go through them. Okay. Lovely to see you. Colour Mixer Wednesday, IPTC next week, and then I think it's Colour Mixer on the mobile the week Wednesday. I'll try and get this up online tomorrow for you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Night all.
you.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.